ensure the safety of all personnel. And it says more information will be released as it becomes available. We know that Jay Johnson, the director of or the Secretary of Homeland Security, was testifying on Capitol Hill. He interrupted his testimony to say something was happening at Joint Base Andrews and he may have to leave. But as far as we know, Jay Johnson is still testifying on Capitol Hill. Art is hearing from his sources that this could be a false alarm, but we don't know that for sure. I'm going to go to you, Joe Giacalone. So a lot of time has passed since 9 a.m. Eastern. What do you make of this?
Yeah, just like what Tom was saying, not a lot of people are watching it now. They're not really moving around in a type of capacity where you would say that they'd be ready to go in somewhere or do something. It actually seems to be pretty calm. We're going to, err on the side of caution, though. We're going to make sure that everything, all the I's have been dotted and T's have been crossed.
When you smack it, make the fried rice, did you all eat it? The fried rice. Fried rice. Remember when you make the fried rice?
Gun inspections.
Shrimp fried rice. You all eat that?
Right now, it looks as if things are pretty calm.
I didn't even get
We don't
none.
see a lot of ambulance activity. Even though it's a hospital, but you still might have to bring people elsewhere if it's inside that facility. Might not be safe, so that would be an indication that there was something definitely wrong.
Let's see what I can
So,
do.
right now I'm keeping a positive outlook on this, and I think that we're going to find out that they'll be standing down soon.
Yes, I do hope you're right. I want to keep a positive outlook as well. Tom, so the base is on lockdown. People have been advised to shelter in place. So what do authorities need to do? What do they need to be sure of before they say the situation's all clear?
That they don't have someone running around on that base armed and shooting or potentially shooting people on base. Once they determine that, they'll end the lockdown, and it should be pretty quick. If this was an accidental discharge of a firearm, and this happens in drills, people are supposed to clear their weapons, and one person doesn't, or any number of things happen. People have been wounded
you eat my coin?
in
You eat?
drill
You know what? Don't see
so bad,
Not yet.
aren't set up properly, and
So where we at,
an
Tom?
accident happens. So
What are you eating
that
on?
is a possibility that may be what happened. And I think as soon as
Huh?
they verify that,
It's 10 o'clock.
they'll bring this to an end and terminate the lockdown.
And Art, do you know from your sources what kind of drill was going on at Joint Base Andrews?
Well, my understanding was it was an active shooter drill. So, I mean, based on what's occurring here, they're more than likely just following through with what they would do in a real active shooter situation. But obviously, if there was an AD, what we call an AD, an accidental discharge, that is a very loud report.
What do you have to say? The 30th?
Inside the hospital, and probably they received several calls about
Yeah, the
a shooter
30th
at
of
that
June.
particular
It
facility.
won't
So,
finish.
and
My
the military
gosh.
does what they do best, and they're going to follow through with this thing to the bitter end.
Could
But
do some
again,
pop-ups,
just
please.
looking at the photos from the local TV station there, nobody is moving in any heightened state of alert. They're basically walking around, and so, I mean, it just appears to me that there's really, that the active shooter scenario there occurring at the scene has already been, for all intents and purposes, internally there at the base, has been declared somewhat clear.
All right, it is delaying some air traffic for the vice president, so I want to head to the White House now and check in with Suzanne Malveaux. Joe Biden was expected to go to Ohio today?
That's right, Carol. I spoke with Megan Dubiak of the Vice President's office, and she said that, yes, he is scheduled to go to campaign for Governor Strickland, but that has been put on hold now, that he is actually holding at the Naval Observatory. He was supposed to go to Joint Andrews Base earlier this morning around this time frame. They are not saying whether or not this is a real or a false alarm in terms of reports of an active shooter. They can't really tell us that, but certainly out of an abundance of caution, they're not going to put the vice president heading in that direction in that kind of situation under that scenario. We are told that the White House as well, the president and those here are aware of what is taking place. They can't really give us a lot of information. They are referring us to the Department of Defense as well as the Air Force to get any kind of details about this, but it is important to note, Carol, that the vice president who was scheduled to be there this morning to leave out of there is now in a holding pattern at the Naval Observatory. having left and used Andrews, Joint Andrews Base, as it is called now, for many years, Carol, this is typically a place where the Vice President, the President, and a number of high-level dignitaries will be traveling. They travel from that location to places all around the world. It is very typical that you would have either the President or Vice President using that particular base as their point, as the point in which they take off to world travel or even just throughout the country. So it's significant that you have the Vice President who is now in a holding pattern, not in that position, not at the base at the moment until they get this all sorted out, Carol.
And hopefully they'll have it all sorted out shortly, because I see people walking around the base right now. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back with much more after this.
What are you doing? Sarah, I love you.
My brother.
Guys. Sarah, were you married?
What do you want, Todd?
If you sit on your phone, you butt dial people. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
I know we just met like 2 months ago.
At Experian, we believe credit isn't just a score. It's a skill. And like anything else, you can get better. That's why we have tools that show you what happens if you forgot to pay a bill. And answers to questions like, what's the difference between a FICO score and other scores? Get the tools and get better at managing your credit. Go to Experian.com to enroll in Experian Credit Works today.
It's here, but it's going by fast. The opportunity of the year is back. The Mercedes-Benz Summer Event. Get to your dealer today for incredible once-a-season offers and start firing up those grills. Lease the E350 for $499 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
It's in the quiet moments when you see why she does this. For Hillary, it's always been about kids. And when millions couldn't get health care, this First Lady worked with Republicans and Democrats to fix it, creating the Children's Health Insurance Program.
So that every child gets the health care that child deserves to have.
Now, 8 million kids are covered. That's the kind of leader she is, and the kind of president she'll be.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
Stank face, a universal expression of disgust, often caused by inadequate cat litter. If you or a loved one suffers from stank face, the cure is Tidy Cats. It's new and improved with guaranteed Tidy Lock protection that locks away odors.
So my garden is pretty. Huh? Yeah. I have basil, basil. You see the basil? You don't know the basil. You know the basil?
Because I'm a woman,
Yeah.
do you think I'm going to crack under pressure? Or
And my pepper up front is pretty. You want in the in the pan?
In the
Looking
time.
good, eh?
In the time.
Huh?
The
And
time.
yeah.
Rewrite the rules.
That time I can carry up